All right, we bring in our third amigo once again this week to talk about the Browns and the preseason game yesterday. 1 down, 19 to go.
Yes, 1 down and 19 to go, but this was a good start to a long year, probably for the Cleveland Browns. I think what we really learned is that Pat Shurmur knows how to coach offense. I thought he came out with a great game plan. He got everyone involved early. I think when you look at that touchdown drive, Colt McCoy goes 5 for 5, but he hit 4 different receivers. And then in the next drive, they go out and they really throw the ball to the tight ends, and then they use Hillis, and they ran on that touchdown with the right side of the offensive line. I thought all those things were to build confidence in going forward.
How much more impressive is it the fact that you have 2 weeks to get ready for your first preseason game, and the first team goes out and does that?
Oh, Mike, I think that's huge. I mean, I was expecting a game with a lot of penalties, with constant offsides, plays not getting in. We didn't even have the Derek Anderson moment where he would hit his helmet and go, "I can't hear the play." Really, that meant I don't know what's going on. Can somebody help me? We didn't have that last night at all.
Well, Pat Shurmur did 2 things last night that really impressed me. 1, he threw the red flag about 12 yards. I got to tell you, he's got a cannon. 2, he also set the world record for head coaches coming back into the press conference room after the game. We normally wait 15, 20 minutes after. He was in 2 seconds. I like the way Pat Shurmur handles his business.
I like his operation.
I think he shows that on the field, too. The guys respect him. You know, he's not killing them at camp.
Right.
And he's so positive. He's nothing but good things.
Oh, yeah, he's positive, but he's honest at the same time, if that makes sense. You know, anytime if you really ask him about the team, he goes, "Look, we have a long way to go." But at the same time, you're right. I think the players are really responding to this different atmosphere, to a guy that's honest to him. He cuts back a little bit on the playbook. But when he says you have to learn something, you have to learn it. And so far, it's worked. And I think when you come out of what they were in last year with Eric Mangini, his style worked in New England, but he wasn't the head guy. You can tell that everything they're doing, it almost is like Pat Shurmur goes to Mike Homer and goes, "Hey, what'd you do in this situation?" You can tell that they have a hierarchy of guys that say, "This way has worked in other places, let's do it this way." And it's coming through in how they played yesterday on the football field.
I want to talk about different guys that had great games. How about Greg Little and what he did yesterday?
Yeah. Greg Little, I thought, was awesome. I thought the way they used him was awesome. First catch was a little quick pass, easy route, easy catch, get him confidence. Thought the one he caught over the middle for the first down was even better because if you look at it, he sits in the zone, Mike, and you know this, and linebacker is over here, and he puts his hand out to the right, saying to the quarterback, throw it to the right. He catches it right in that nice little triangle, falls down for a first down. That was a veteran-like move for a guy that hadn't played in 22 months.
How about Josh Cribbs? Josh looked healthy yesterday.
Yeah.
2 nice catches. And you kind of watched him yesterday and you said, you know what, maybe he is a wide receiver.
Yeah, maybe he is. And the way the kickoffs look nowadays, he better be a wide receiver because you may not return it. But I think he takes a lot of pride in being a kick returner and being a wide receiver. And he told me last week, he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "Who wants to really tell me I can't do something?" He goes, "I was told I can't play in the NFL." He wants to prove people that they're wrong. He could be a receiver. And I'm not going to go against him. Are you guys?
So who gets more credit for Jabal Sheard's effort yesterday? Joe Thomas or Jabal Sheard? He looked good too.
That's a great question. A little bit Joe Thomas. I think Joe Thomas is going to make Jabal Sheard a really good player. I think he could have went against the best left tackle ever. As long as it wasn't 73 with the Browns helmet, he was going to be happy yesterday. I think that's going to be something to watch the whole season because Joe Thomas told me he's not going to take it easy on him. He's going to keep pounding him each day out in Berea.
How excited can you be about it? It is a preseason game. You know, I don't think the Packers came out and said, "Hey, this is a playoff game."
No.
Aaron Rodgers decided he wanted to slow
when they wanted to turn it on, they turned it on. Put it this way. Do you remember the Browns' record in preseason last year?
Undefeated, winless.
That's my
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it does matter how well they played. And as Mike kind of said, they had things in place. They didn't look like a team that were just put together 2 weeks ago as they were. That's the best part about it. Having the one win is nice, but guys, on November 12th, we're not going to really care about what happened last night. We just care. The best thing is not a lot of injuries. The team looks like they're ready to play again on Friday. That's more exciting to me whether they win or lose.
But you know what? You tweeted before the game a bunch of guys you were watching, and you were 100% right. Titus Brown was one of them.
Yeah, Titus Brown was one of them because, you know, let's say the numbers is a big part of it as well. He had to play a lot. He's the backup middle linebacker, but he's been here 2 years. And with Eric Mangini, he really couldn't find a position. Tried him at outside linebacker, tried him inside linebacker. None of those positions worked for him. He is a middle linebacker that's made for the 4-3. He's 6'3", 250 pounds, and he can run a little bit, we found out last night. He's that thumper that you need in the middle, and I think he's got a good chance to play on special teams and maybe make some plays in the defense as the year goes along.
All right, I know the hotel rooms are going to be packed this week. I know the newspapers are going to be going crazy because it is the Great Lakes Classic.
GLC, baby.
Going up against Detroit. It's a short week for this team. What do we expect to see? How much more will we see out of the starters, and how much more of the game plan?
I think we're going to see a little bit more of the starters. I think you probably see them into the second quarter, probably get about 3 or 4 drives. I think the other thing is for fans, if you're going out to training camp tomorrow, they've moved practice back to 10:30 out in Berea on Monday, and they will be in full pads. But you're right, it's a short week. Detroit is a team that has a lot of weapons. Stafford threw 2 touchdown passes against Cincinnati in the first quarter. Their defense, as Ndamukong Suh, doesn't treat quarterbacks very nicely. This is going to be a big test because Detroit, they are kind of they're in a different mindset. Jim Schwartz is trying to say, we're going to be the best team in the NFC East. So they're going to play a little bit different in the Central. So you have to come out and you got to be prepared to go against the Detroit team.
I just want to bring up one more point about these preseason games, okay? Peyton Hillis, if there's one guy, and I tweeted this all last night too, if there's one guy on the team that we know exactly what he can do in a game, he's the guy. So, you know, he took a pretty hard hit in that first drive.
He did.
And I'm like, get him out of there. I don't want to see him till the first. I don't want to see him till Cincinnati.
You know, that's a great quandary that I think a lot of teams are going to go through. You know, you watch New England and they don't play Tom Brady at all. Well, you got to get the guy ready to play at some point in time. But with Peyton Hillis, I don't play him a lot because he takes a lot of hits. I know that maybe in that third game when you go on the road, you may have to play him into the third quarter, but you don't need to kill him. And at some point in time, you'd like to think that the kid from Tennessee, number 31, Hardesty, is going to get in the field, and that's the guy that you run hard to find out. Because as you said, we know what you're going to get from Peyton Hillis.
How long until we see Hardesty?
Hopefully by game 3 is what I would expect. Because he hasn't practiced or taken hits, let's see if he practices tomorrow or Tuesday. I would think they would practice him a couple times this week, sit him out again next week, and then maybe in that third preseason game, get him on the field.
All right, he looked great in shorts.
Yeah, he looks awesome in shorts.
Everybody looks great in shorts.
That's a good point.
All right, make sure you check out Andre all week. You're on STO. You'll be back here. You're on TAM.
Everywhere.
You are the king of all media.
Time to go take a nap.